So in the Western Conference Finals, we have the LA Lakers taking on the Denver Nuggets. Mike, who do you think wins?
I think it's a no-brainer, guys. The Nuggets have gone to 2 Game 7s in a row. Even though they may be good, they might have good coaching, but they're going to be tired. The Lakers have had rest. They're built for this. They've been in that championship mindset since day one.
My pick for this year's miracle team, the Denver Nuggets. Last year, you guys saw it. Toronto were the miracle team. This year, the Nuggets are. The only team in the 74-year NBA history to come back from a 3-1 deficit twice. The Nuggets versus the Lakers in the regular season lost 3 games, won a single game. You know what that sounds like? That sounds like a 3-1 deficit. You know what the Nuggets do with 3-1 deficits? They come back and win it in 7. I like players who turn it up in the playoffs. Jamal Murray averages 19 throughout the season. In the playoffs, he's averaging 26. Jokic averages 20 throughout the season. Now he's averaging 25. But the guy can pass. He is a passing big. Arguably a better passer than the God Almighty LeBron.
No!
Oh, man. Look, AP, you're wrong. You're just wrong. The Lakers, I think that they could drop the first game again. We've seen them do it to the Trailblazers. We've seen them do it to the Rockets. They're just, they get a gauge on what the opposition can do. Let them ball out. And then, we've seen them win 4 games in a row. And I think it's what happens. I think the Lakers win in 4 or 5. The Nuggets, they've got their 2 All-Stars in Jokic and Murray. And there's a bit of bad blood between Murray and the Lakers, which I think should make for quite an interesting series. We saw back in 2018 where Murray was dribbling out the clock and he tried to flex on Lonzo a little. The Lakers didn't like that, and the fans remember that. I'm very well aware that the Lakers fans remember that, and that there's going to be bad blood in this series. But I think the depth of the Lakers will be too strong, and I think AD's dominance inside is really going to shine through in this series.
Look, man, I think if we're looking at playoff performers, I know AP's talking about Jamal Murray being a playoff performer, but there is one ultimate playoff performer, and his name is LeBron James. And I don't think that you can look at the Nuggets and say there is any single player on the Nuggets who can stop LeBron, right? You might have Millsap, you might have Jeremy Grant. They might slow him down, but LeBron is simply on another planet compared to those guys. I don't see that happening. Jokic is going to get punished, all right? He's already tired playing 2 Game 7s. They're going to punish him on every single possession. And I think that you can pretty much book it Lakers winning every single game in this series by 10 or more.
I just don't see it happening. I mean, my picks initially were the Clippers, and the Nuggets showed them. So you know what? In my opinion, the Clippers were a better team than the Lakers. Ipso facto, the Nuggets will beat the Lakers because they just beat the Clippers.
Basketball is a team game, all right? The Lakers, they won Game 5 against the Rockets by 25 points, 24 points, and AD had 13. I mean, their team is just so deep that if they have one player having a bad game, they've got Kuzma to step up. They've got Rondo to step up as a playmaker.
Kuzma!
Hey, the dude got 17
Who the hell's that
Rockets
guy?
in Game 5.
Who the hell's Kyle Kuzma?
Man,
I didn't even know that guy.
Man, you better put some respect on Kyle Kuzma's name, all right?
Mate.
Because the man defensively is slept on, and offensively can light him up if he's let open.
Mate.
So
To be fair, he is slept on defense for good reason. Okay, I wouldn't say Kyle Kuzma is a good defender by any stretch of the imagination. I think one of the most underrated, under the radar stars for the Lakers is Danny Green. You got to look at Danny Green. He won the finals last year. He's won a ring with the Spurs. He has championship DNA.
Yeah, I agree.
All right, he's probably one of the greatest 3-and-D players in NBA history. If you look at his resume, he might not be the greatest shooter. I know he bricks it quite often, but greatest 3-and-D players. Who can you put him? No one can be put next to him. Danny Green is going to average 15 this series. He'll probably have a 20 or 30 point game during this series.
He'll have a 20 or 30
going to sell
point
out
game.
on LeBron and AD.
Danny Green. Has he ever even dropped like over 20?
Mate, why should I trust you then? Why should I trust you to pick good players? You were on PG's side for the longest time,
Mate,
and look what happened to him.
Chose the wrong Paul now. I meant Chris Paul, mate. I forgot who I was talking about.
Chris Paul lost in the first round, dude.
Yeah, but I forgot who he was, mate, for a second there. Paul George, I don't even know who that guy is now, mate. He's out of my brain right now because he lost. Just don't even mention his name in front of me, mate.
Look, I've had many years of experience as a job recruiter, right? All those years of experience have told me one thing. You hire people based on experience. Doesn't matter about anything else. And that's why I'm picking Danny Green as my playoff performer of not just the series, but for the rest of the playoffs. I think that he will be the big X factor.
So my pick for this series is AD to average 35 and LeBron to average a triple-double. I think the star power of the Lakers just outshines the Nuggets in every sense. You got LeBron, he wants that fourth ring. He wants it more than anything. He came to the Lakers. He said that's what he was going to bring them. We saw the failure of last season and bouncing back. He's playing with that chip on his shoulder. He's the greatest ever, and he's going to make it 4 this year.
I've got Jokic averaging a triple-double, 30-piece a night. You got Jamal Murray. Yeah, mate. You got Jamal Murray probably averaging around 30 plus a night.
My picks for this series are, let's look at LeBron. He averages 11, nearly 12 assists against the Nuggets this year. The Lakers have also won all 3 matchups between the Lakers and the Nuggets. So my picks are over on LeBron's assists. I think his line is currently 10.5, as well as Lakers to win by 10 or more every single game. And I think this will be a pretty easy sweep. Nuggets have no answer for that interior attack of the Los Angeles Lakers. And LeBron will be lobbing alley-oops. He'll be kicking it out to the 3, getting his assists. And we should see LeBron, probably hitting 14 assists tonight, to be honest.
I like it. But I see a lot of those assists going to the man AD. I like him. I don't know exactly what his points line is, but I like it overs in game 1. I see AD coming out. He had a bad game 5 against the Rockets, but he wouldn't have really cared all that much. The Lakers, as I said earlier, it's a team sport. If you have a bad night individually and your team wins, it really doesn't matter. You've got that win on the board. But yeah, I like LeBron with the assists, as you said, Mike, passing it to my man AD in the post.
The Lakers meet the Nuggets to advance to the NBA Finals. I guess we'll find out who the winner is in about a week or so. Like and subscribe. Follow us for more content.